Have you ever wondered what Jesus really meant when he said, "Many are called, but few are chosen"? Let's dive into one of his most challenging parables, the wedding banquet from Matthew 22, and see what lessons it holds for you and me. Picture this. A king prepares a lavish wedding feast for his son. The tables are set, the food is ready, and invitations go out to the honored guests. But when the king says, "Come, everything is ready," they refuse. Some are just too busy. Others even mistreat and kill the king's servants. It's a shocking response, right? Now, those invited guests in the story, they represent the religious leaders and people who first heard God's promises. People who looked the part, but when it mattered, ignored the invitation. So the king reacts. He sends his servants out to invite anyone and everyone they can find, both good and bad. Suddenly, the banquet hall is bursting with guests from all walks of life. This is God's open invitation, reaching way beyond the expected. But there's a twist. The king notices someone at the feast who isn't wearing wedding clothes. When the king asks him, "How did you get in here without wedding clothes, friend?" the man is speechless. He's thrown out into the darkness. Seems harsh, but here's what it means. Accepting God's invitation isn't just about showing up, it's about being changed, putting on the righteousness that only He can give. The wedding garment isn't about fancy clothes. It's about a humble heart dressed in God's grace, not our own achievements. That's why Jesus ends the parable with, "Many are called, but few are chosen." God's invitation to His kingdom is unbelievably generous. It's for everyone, but you have to accept it and let it transform you from the inside out. So what does this mean for me and for you? First, it's not enough to simply hear about God's invitation or even to consider yourself invited. The real question is, am I willing to respond, and will I let God change me? Second, nobody is excluded because of their past. The king's hall is filled with people from every background. The only people who miss out are those who refuse the invitation or refuse to be clothed in God's goodness. In the end, this parable isn't meant to scare us. It's an invitation to real joy, real belonging, and a celebration that lasts forever. God's kingdom is open to all, but it calls for humility and a willingness to wear the garment He provides. So, are you ready to say yes, not just with your words but with your life?